This past week on HGTV, there was a premiere of a show that brought me back to my childhood. They are having a show, it'll go on for I think about 7 or 8 episodes. It's called A Very Brady Renovation. And I think we all probably remember, if you grew up in the 70s or were a parent at that time, probably remember the Brady Bunch. And really it was a show that I think we looked forward to watching. It was a little edgy for its time. After all, it highlighted a blended family. And also, it was one of the first times in television that they showed a husband and wife in their pajamas. That was like huge for the time. So you can imagine, look at how far down we have come when it comes to our culture of television and what we watch and really what we tolerate and put up with. It's been an incredible decrease and decline. But there was always a good ending to the Brady Bunch and kind of a nice feeling to it, even though it was in the midst of shows that kind of taught children about lying, broken noses and broken vases, and lost children in the Grand Canyon. I think those were some of my favorite episodes. But I do think that it was a show that kind of highlighted a little bit of family life, and we're drawn into it. I was always intrigued by the house, actually, and this is the whole purpose of this HGTV show, is because they're taking the house, which I never could figure out how the stairway was in the back. Actually, the second floor on the picture of the house was on the left. And so now all of that has been revealed. My suspicions have been confirmed that the inside was a TV studio and the outside was just a nice home there somewhere in Los Angeles. I would say the closest thing we would have today to the Brady Bunch, and I say this, I can't even believe it, is this show called Keeping Up with the Kardashians, which really should be called Wasting Time Watching People Make Idiots of Themselves. I will tell you, you never would have heard Cindy, Jan, Greg, Peter, Bobby, Mike, Carol, or Alice. They never had to be bleeped for anything that they ever said on TV, and notice that. We have really come not a very long way with TV, though, morally. And I think that was kind of the golden age of the sitcom. It was kind of the golden age, really. It was the beginnings of it, but there was a purity about it and of watching TV. We don't have that today. I would think as a parent, you have to be very careful what's on TV. Even at 8, 9 o'clock at night, this whole generation of reality TV has gone downhill. And I think that it's showing supposedly what is reality, but I think it's pretty far from reality. We have lost some sense of decency on television. We've kind of lost that era. It's kind of a generation now that we seem to be going in a different direction. I can only hope that we fit once again. Today in the gospel, Jesus tells a parable, 3 parables about things that are lost or people that are lost, and about how each one is found, and it is possible. He tells the story of the lost sheep. This is a story about risk-taking. This is a story about risk-taking because the shepherd, who was probably the chief shepherd, he may have had some assistance, he left 99 behind to go look for one. He took a big risk and trusted those 99 to be on their own or to be watched by someone else because one was so valuable. That should show us and tell us that every human person has value from conception until natural death. There is value in the soul, in the human person. It cannot be replaced. So that risk is worth taking, to go out to look for the lost, to find them. Second of all, he tells the story about the coin. This coin wasn't worth very much, but it had sentimental value. For whatever reason, to this woman, she was persistent, and she found a lot of energy to go looking for. She wanted to find it, and when she did, she threw a celebration. So really, in that particular story, it's a story of motivation. So we have not only that sense of value, But what motivates us to go looking for something? I tell you, whenever I see a penny or a nickel or a dime, I don't care what it is on the ground, I pick it up. Because I think, now, maybe one day I'll be rich. I can give it to the church at least, if it's an extra penny. I just think it's totally worth it. Everything has value. And I'm motivated by saying, wow, that's money on the ground. Someone lost. I hope that maybe I can find it and share it. Thirdly, and finally, he tells the story of the lost son, or really it's lost sons. Because it wasn't only the one that squandered the inheritance, it wasn't him who rejected the father's love and then came back to receive it once again, The other son is lost too. You see, he has the father's love, but he doesn't know how to receive it. He's lost because he doesn't know how to find forgiveness. I think this is a story about repair and reparation, because there's a lot that's going to happen in that household once that calf is eaten and all of the guests leave. They're going to have to find their way back to being a family once again. I'm somewhat intrigued by this story because whenever I read it or I hear it, I kind of wonder, where was the mother in this situation? Was mom there? Because I assure you, if mother was there, she would have set those boys straight very, very quickly, I have the feeling. And I think that in this particular story, it's a sense of how do we repair relationship, open ourselves up to that gift of repair so that what was lost can now be found. As we hear these readings today, and specifically this gospel, this is really our opportunity to think, have we lost anything in our lives? And I'm not talking things. We car keys, we may lose a piece of clothing or maybe got lost in the dryer, whatever it might be. We don't know where something is. I'm talking about a part of ourselves. Have we lost a part of ourselves that I mentioned about, like television, kind of losing its soul and its conscience? In that same way, have we lost a part of who we are? Do we yearn for the good old days? Going back and thinking, gosh, remember when I had motivation to do something? Or remember when I had this joy of life? If you have lost your life, remember, it can be found. If you have lost something in relationship, perhaps in your marriage, don't give up hope that it can be repaired. Jesus gives us that hope. Maybe we ourselves have wandered a little bit. Are we struggling with where we are in life? Is perhaps God not as important maybe as he once was? Well, this is a chance to say, not all who wander are lost. We sometimes may kind of go different ways. That's that free will that God gave us. We make choices that separate us sometimes from the love of God and of community. But remember, we can always find our way back because of the gift of mercy. Maybe you don't even know that you're lost. Winnie the Pooh once said, "I don't think I'm lost because I know where I am. But where I am may be lost." The wisdom of Pooh, you just never ever know what might come forth. But maybe we don't even have the humility to realize we're going in a direction that's not good for us. We can be restored. We can be repaired. We can have hope for what the future brings, because we are people of the cross, who when there is darkness, light will come. Where there was death, there now can be life. There's hope always for a better tomorrow. As we sang in the beginning, "Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. I once was lost, but now am found." Amen.